Hello everyone. It is me, Sharon Rogers, your friendly Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Wells, Maine. And I am so excited to show you something tonight that is just so much fun. Just going to take me a second to welcome everybody and make sure that I've got my iPad on, which it is now on. Hi, Ann and Sheila. So we're gonna do this card, which is a variation of the card that I had posted for our Friday Night Live. Hi, Debbie. And this card is really pretty simple to make. It looks a lot more complex than it is. It's this little interactive card. Today's plan: consume coffee, cookies, chocolate. Up, and my iPad is telling me it's got low battery. So amuse yourselves. I'm just going to go plug in for just a second. I thought I had sufficiently charged it, but I'm not sure my charger is working 100%. So let's just see if I can get this to work. All right, let me see. We're plugged in now. So how was your day, everybody? While we just give everybody a minute or so to pop on. It was a gorgeous day here in Wells, Maine. By now you have all seen, I hope, the mini catalog and the celebration catalogs. They went live on Tuesday this week. And if you do not have a demonstrator and don't have those catalogs, I would be happy to send you one. I send all my customers one who order, within a 6 months time span, and I would love to make sure you get one. So let me know. You can send me an email at stampinhood@gmail.com if you would like to receive a catalog. Now, you can't really see, but my desk is really a mess. It's not so bad right here because these are things I'm going to be using tonight. But over there, whoo, not so pretty. I worked longer today than I had planned, and so I did not get a chance to tidy up. But I think that's about enough time for people to get on, and if not, they can catch me on the replay. So tonight we are going to use the Nothing's Better Than, because this goes so great with this set, and then we're going to use the Give It a Whirl dies. And so the Give It a Whirl dies are, let me show you too, by the way, the Give It a Whirl dies are kind of hidden in the catalog. And speaking of catalogs, mine are kind of hidden too. Remember that mess I was, oh, I know, it's out on the other table, that's why. So it's on, let me see if I can find it. I've got more catalogs here. All right, let's see. It's on the page with the space set. There we go. So here we have the annual catalog. On page 57, you have this cute little space set, and you can see the use of it right here. Unfortunately, if you're not looking carefully and like, oh, what's that? It looks like an interactive card, and how would they make that? That's really the only way you're going to see that Give It a Whirl dies right here. $39 would make such cute cards, and it really is so simple. So let's get started, and I will show you how to make it. So we're starting with a base of soft succulent cardstock. So I girled this one up a little bit. Sheila says she keeps losing me. I'm not exactly sure why. Everything looks fine on my end, but I don't know. Ruth says it's still so hot in Florida. Sorry. Come on up here. It's beautiful. So we're going to start with a piece of soft succulent as my base. And then this one is actually a little bit more complex than most of the other cards that I've made because I used two colors here. And that was just simply so that I didn't have so much going on. See, this pattern down here is, you know, there's a lot going on right there. So I happened to cut it in half, which meant that I needed to cut out two of these. So in the Give It a Whirl, there is this piece right here, which makes this top piece. See, so I just have to cut out two of those because I have this one and this one. The good news is I could interchange them and make, you know, the top one, then the bottom, and the bottom, the top of the second one. So I can really get two out of one here. I'm going to bring in my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. Got the big boy out. Well, Mary, wonder no longer. I am going to show you how it works. All right, so you're just going to die cut as you normally would die cut anything. That's one of them. And you can see that it puts a little hole in here as well, and that's going to be very important. I'm going to then die cut the piece of Very Vanilla. I don't know if the camera, my phone is picking up my cat. My cat wants in here so badly. He's sweet, but man, he's annoying sometimes. He just wants to stamp and get in my way, and all right. So I've got those two pieces cut out. I am also, out of the Very Vanilla, going to need this wheel piece. So in our set of dies here, that's this wheel piece right here. And you can see there's all sorts of things in here. There's hearts and there's clouds and stars. So you could do a lot of different things. You could create a sun probably with just any old circle. But then you could have, you know, options for cloudy days and starry nights. Lots of different things. So I'm going to take another piece of Very Vanilla and put my wheel on there. All right. And so now we have a wheel, and you can see there's another circle in there. Now, one of the things that we need to do, let me bring my card back in here. You can see that this upper piece has a window cut out of it. And the piece that I die cut already does not. So that's another die that you're going to need. And you actually have options here. Let me put this back. I like to put my dies back fairly soon after I've used them so I don't lose them. So you can see that anything that has one of these little tabs on it, that can be part of your rolling mechanism. So you could use a circle, or you could use a heart. You could use this rectangular window. This is the one I'm going to use. It's the one on the sample. And to die cut that, you're just going to line the hole in the die up with the hole that's already there. Let's bring our Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine back in. And line this stuff up. Now you can actually place this on the bottom if you want. You can have it on this on the side. You can have it anywhere you want. I'm going to put it up here just so I can read everything. All right, let's line it up. I'm doing this sideways, so let's see if I can figure this out. You want to have it fairly straight and not cockeyed. So that looks pretty good. Now my cat is scratching to come in. All right. I'm going to take this off. I now have my window that I need. So I'm not sure if you'll be able to see this on camera. I think you will. I'll try really hard to get. If I pick up the light just right, you can actually see the 3 sections that the wheel divided this in. That's very helpful for this particular window because this window is what we're stamping in. Now, if it were a circle instead of this window, what I would do is I would line up these holes, and I would probably take a pencil and just kind of sketch around a little bit so I knew where the position was, so I know where I'm supposed to stamp. The other thing is you can actually stamp through the hole itself. Now, some of these words are a little bit long, so I don't know that I dare to do that. I can give it a try. We'll see. Let's see how that goes. All right, so in order for this to move, we'll also need to pop it up on dimensionals. All right. So dimensionals will come into play here as well. Let's go ahead and get out an ink pad, and I'm going to use Early Espresso. You know what? Let's first stamp on our pre-cut cardstock, or the cardstock we just cut. Let's stamp on our bases. Get that out of the way, I guess. So you can see that on this upper part, I just stamped tone on tone. Let me get my pieces out here. So that means I stamped my chocolates in crumb cake on the crumb cake piece. I'm just going to stamp a bunch all over. Remember, I still have to cut this in. I'll cut this down. I might as well stamp all the way over it right now. That way, when I make one from the bottom card, I don't have to do it there as well. So that is one image. So today's plan could be for me to include chocolate, but it could also be to include coffee. So let's get the coffee cup out, and let's see, I have that over here. I used that a second ago. So we can stamp the coffee mug just randomly all over. I'm not leaving too much room for my cookies, but well, that's all right. Cookies are bad for me anyway. Not that that stopped me. It has not. And you can stamp through the window too. And you can stamp over so they overlap. Whatever you want to do. So there we have that. Now we also need the very vanilla piece because we'll need to stamp on that as well. But because we're going to be coloring that in, I don't want to use regular ink pads. I'm going to have to use Memento Black. So with Memento Black, It's alcohol based, so you can use the alcohol blends to color in your images. I'm going to do just what, and I'm starting, this is how I should have started before too. You start with the biggest image because it's a whole lot easier to fit smaller images in amongst the big ones than vice versa. I'm just going to stamp a few of those. And let's bring in the chocolate because that's the next largest size. Angle the, you know, you can vary the angles on them. Okay. This is how you make your own designer series, your background paper as well. All right, now I had the coffee cup, but now I can't find, oh, I put it back where it belonged. See, that's what happens when you do something you don't normally do. All right, that's probably pretty good. Maybe I'll do one more right over here over the dot. All right, we'll see how that works out. All right, let's cover this up. Now we need to go ahead and color in a few things. So let's go ahead and color in some cookies. So I have my dark crumb cake and I have my light crumb cake. I personally always start with my dark, and I usually just use that to outline. That's what's going to give the depth on our cookies. Well, on everything actually. And this bullet end is a lot more sturdy than the brush tip end. You know what, I'm just going to focus on this bottom half right here because that's actually the only part we're using for this card. I can color in the rest some other time. And we used the soft succulent on the base of the card, so I'm going to use soft succulent on my teacups or my coffee cups. For my chocolates, I'm not sure what colors I used. I think I used actually I think I cheated because I don't think I have I know I don't have a early espresso, and that's what I really wanted for one of my chocolates, so I just used the regular markers. It was so dark you couldn't really tell that it made the ink run a little bit. So now if you notice what I'm doing, I'm making some circular motions over around where the light is meeting the dark, and that's just going to help them blend a little bit more. You can also do that with the brush tip end. Remember when you're coloring with your alcohol markers, with your blends, that you want to use some light pressure on the side of your marker. You don't want to smoosh down on the tip because that's what's going to make them very soft and not as easy to work with in the future. So these will just blend out, and you can go over as much as you need to, and it blends nicely. I usually leave the centers a little bit lighter if I can help it, which I usually can help it. So let's see. Let's actually see if I can. I want to use so these are my Stampin' Right markers. They are not alcohol based, which means that they could very well bleed, but if you notice, I'm starting with a chocolate that really doesn't have a lot going on in the middle of it. So I'm just coloring it, and you can't tell if it bleeds a little bit because it's just so dark. I'll color this one as well. All right, I'm trying to pay attention, see if anybody's got any questions. If you have any questions, you can go ahead and ask them. I'll try to find them, or find them in the feed. I think I'll use my cinnamon cider for the middle chocolate, and again I'll start around the outside. with the dark. And then I'll move to the inside with the light. And I have the light over here somewhere because I was going to use that for a different project. You're going to go over the dark area to blend away those edges. I'm not very good about leaving some white space. Usually if I want to get a really good light space, you know, where the light is hitting a chocolate, I usually cheat and, you know, maybe I'll use my color lifter. And then I just need a little swirl here, and I'm going to just go ahead and use my cinnamon cider again. There. Soft succulent. I happen to have those blends as well. Now, blends are not, they're not inexpensive. They're a very good quality product, but they're $9 for a set of 2. So it does get a little bit pricey, but they last quite a long time, and they will make you feel like an artist. So I would suggest, if you're on a budget like the majority of people, that you just plan to make a regular purchase, and you know, every month you add 1 or 2 to your order, and before long you've got a nice set going on. Let's do the inside here darker. Thank you for watching me and not the Olympics. Have you been watching any of it? My son, who I don't understand him, he doesn't really get any of that, but he's been really into the Olympics. We come home and that's what he's watching, which is fine because, you know, good healthy competition. Most of it's free from, you know, bad sportsmanship. Okay, so I've got that colored. Now I do need to kind of cut these in half. So if I measure it, I see that it is a little bit, I don't know, over. I want the total to end up being 5 1/4. That's about what it is. It's just under it, but that's okay. I want the total to be 5 1/4 so that it has a nice edge around. I will cut this one so that it's, so 5 1/4 would be, half of that's 2 5/8, and that is just about at this little, can you see this little, it puts it right there. So I'm actually going to go lower for this one. I'm gonna make this 2 1/4. And so then the top part of this will have to be 3 inches. Not so, because I can see that the width is 3 3/4. So that means I need a bigger border around everything. So I'm actually going to go bring this down a little bit. Hope that's right. My mind's not exactly working perfectly tonight. All right, so if we put those together, let's find the base card here. That's not the one that's scored. I need the one that's scored. There we go. This will go on the bottom. And this will go on the top. And that looks pretty good. We'll wrap a ribbon around it. We'll be good to go. But I'm missing something. I'm missing my circle, my inside, where all the magic happens. So let's go ahead and get that out. Oh goodness, I think I've lost it already. Oh, here it is. Let's set this aside because I will have to put these together. I will probably do that with dimensionals, but I can't do that first. I have to do that last. You can't see it on camera probably, but I can. I can see where these little triangles are. Again, if you don't trust yourself, you can line it up. Use a very light pencil mark to kind of give you some borders to work within. I can see that. I hope you can too. Let's go ahead and choose our cards. And yes, I know that I did not select cocktails. That's obviously an option too. Today's plan could be to consume that as well. But I only had to pick, I could only pick 3. And so I picked the lesser of evils. I don't really think of it as evil. I don't like it. I think it's gross. So that's why I would prefer coffee and chocolate and cookies. I have a very sweet tooth. Honestly though, I don't like coffee either. But the coffee cup was cute and is what gave me color for this. So there's coffee. And then we need coffee and we've got cookies. So I'm going to turn this around and I'll stamp cookies. There we go. Now it's time to put everything together. You do need a brad. And so on that same page the US has 98 medals. Oh, they need to cup 2 more. We'll break 100. Here are some brads that are on that same page in the catalog. They're the round and square brads. They come in black and white, and they have a number of different shapes. So there's a square or a diamond, depending on how you're looking at it, I suppose. And there's teeny tiny round one. I'm going to use this one because I want you to be able to see what I'm doing in a little bit. I'm going to line those holes up and put my brad through. Now, what's wrong with this? Well, for me, it's vanilla cardstock and it's a white brad. Can't do that, right? Another benefit to alcohol markers is you can color on these things and make them whatever color you want. Well, as long as you have the alcohol blend. I'm going to do that right here. And now I have a soft, succulent brad. That was worth the price of admission tonight if you didn't know it, right? Just blow on it for a quick second. All right. And I don't have to worry about the stems of it because they're not going to show. I'll flip this over. So you can see you can move that all around. Now adhering, oh, I do have one more thing to put there, right? Today's plan is to consume. So let's clean my block again. And I need to put those words up here in the corner before I get too much further in. And I'm not stamping right over the top, so here we go. I probably, if I thought about it, wouldn't have put anything there, but you can still read it. Today's plan. Consume. Now when I put it together, I'm going to need to pop that up on dimensionals. What you have to look out for is you cannot actually impede the wheel. So I can put one here and I can put one here. I'll probably have to get out my teeny tiny dimensionals, and that's not going to fit over there, and it's not going to fit there. So that means I need to take the edge of my teeny tiny dimensionals and up, still too wide. Just going to pop it up a little bit, just a little bit. There we go. It's too wide, but actually what I could have done is I could have hooked the other vanilla piece to it. You know, I could have overlapped them that way and done that. Because what I need to do is I do need to connect these, because I need to wrap the ribbon around at some point. And actually I wrapped the ribbon around, let's see if I can peek through. And the ribbon actually goes behind this, so it's fine. Another way you could connect these two is you could take a strip of cardstock. So maybe I just take this scrap that I had here, and you could, let me take this piece off and show you what I'm talking about. Take a little glue here, take a little glue here, and connect the pieces. Let me move this sage. Okay, you could line them up, and I have a little connection point here now. Okay. Just got to be very careful with the glue, because it is not something that you want to get on your circle, because if it's on your circle's going to stick. So here's another piece that will connect the two parts. So you can see it looks like one piece now. I'm going to bring in my soft succulent open weave ribbon. This stuff is so nice to work with because it is very pliable. It's thin and light. So nice. I'm going to, because it's got this piece over here, I'm actually going to tie the knot on the other side for balance. I can adjust it afterwards. If you have trouble tying flat knots, I would encourage you to go to my YouTube channel and look for the ribbon tying tutorial that I have there. Okay, so I have that. Perfect. Now I just need to put on my other dimensionals. And I'm going to put a dimensional right here. I'm going to put one right here, so near the wheel, but not on the wheel, obviously. There, I've got a bunch of dimensionals on there. Just take off the backings. Bring my card back in. Line it up. And that looks good. And you can, oh, you know what I didn't do? Erase the pencil marks. So if you do put the pencil marks in there, you'll want to make sure that you erase them. So today's plan is to consume chocolate, coffee, and cookies. Take your pick. Of course, we can decorate the inside. I'm probably not going to do that right now, just because this was a little bit of a longer project than normal. One of the other things, though, I do want to point out is there's a die in here with some arrows, and that would just put a little bit of like a stitching in here. I could do that. I could actually use this one and die cut an arrow, or you can take a pen, and I could use, I like my white chalk pen too, but because this is vanilla, I'll probably just use this and draw in a little arrow, because otherwise the recipient might not know what to do. Cute, huh?